did the school dismiss her claims because they were trying to protect the teacher, or did the school dismiss her claims because they didn't feel like it was a legit case?
Mm-hmm.
That's the part where it's like a little, I'm a little torn because obviously, it seems like she felt very strongly that harassment occurred, and she felt like the coach kind of inserted herself very much into her personal life more than she should have. I mean, it's based off of Alex's description of the conversations that the coach had with her. They did feel a little inappropriate. Like the coach shouldn't be asking her about her dating life or her sex life. But
Mm-hmm.
where she's like, the coach insisted on driving me home. Then, like, to me, I'm like, well, if the coach insisted on driving you home late at night, like, that could also just be a coach that was not wanting a young teenage girl to be walking home alone at night. Like, if she didn't do anything and she didn't, like, try to come into your apartment or anything afterwards, then I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of dicey.
It.
It's the Pop Report. So juicy.
You know, this morning we're recording at bright and early hours.
This is
Our-
lunchtime. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is hour 4 for you being awake. This is like an hour 1 of me being awake. Hence the hat, hence the black shirt. I mean, I'm always wearing a black shirt, but like, we log on. Zach goes, "Did you just wake up?" I'm like, "No, it's called seasonal allergies. I
No,
wake up
you
like
just
this.
rolled out of bed like 15 minutes ago.
Eat shit." Anyway,
What time did you set your alarm for this morning?
I got up at 7, and we're
Okay.
recording at 8 a.m.
So this is you after a full hour.
Yeah, this is me.
What time do you normally start work?
8:39. You know, like, sometimes a shower helps, sometimes some early sleep helps, but that's me.
Okay.
What time do you get up? Like, what is your core time you get up and start working?
This morning I got up at 4:15.
God.
And then I took the dogs out. I let them go potty and play until about like 4:45. And then I got my coffee. And then I did a little bit of work. And then I was in the gym just before 5:30.
God.
Finished about 6:30. Then I came back. I was doing some other work. Took a shower. Got ready.
Cried. I would
Did
cry.
a little yeah, and then now here we are, 8 a.m. And then I have this, and then after this I have to tape No Filter, and then after No Filter I have to tape Chef's Juice podcast, and then after that we're taking my dad to lunch for Father's Day, and yeah.
And where's the me time? Where's the coffee break? Where's like the...
This is me time.
You're like, this is my silly bitch moment, just to sit on this mic and talk about shit I already know about. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun, and then this weekend's gonna be jam-packed. I know we're both going to VidCon for different reasons, but we're both gonna be there this weekend.
Same strokes for different folks. Or different, whatever.
You're
phrase.
going because you're interviewing people, right?
Yeah. So, welcome to the Pop Report. Hi. Subscribe to all the things. And sometimes we have to record this early because work, aka other things come up, other podcast appearance, other interviews. To give people perspective on VidCon, we live in Los Angeles, and those people who don't know where Anaheim is and the perspective of the world, it's about a 45-minute to an hour and a half drive, depending on traffic.
Yeah, traffic is the biggest indicator.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, what the fuck's Anaheim?" It's where Disney is. It's where this convention
Disneyland.
is. VidCon has been, I want to say, around for like 10 to 12 years. I think this is my 9th year going. I have been around the block for this, but I started
15 years. This is year 15.
I get it wrong sometimes. This, I will say candidly, people who don't know this, maybe people know this about me. I got a lot of my start online because I went to YouTuber conventions and I would help out behind the scenes of another convention. And then people were like, "You're actually fun." And I was like, "Great. Okay." I was, like 16, 18. So yeah, I was making videos for a convention called Playlist Live and started going to other conventions. And people were like, "You're that kid who makes those videos." I was like, "That's me." I have seen these conventions change so much. This is your second or third? This is your
I've
first?
never been. This will be my first year.
Zachariah. I'm
I've never been
surprised.
to VidCon.
Why is that?
I've never had an interest in going to VidCon. The
That's
only
right.
reason I'm not even going like because I was like I want to go to VidCon. I'm going because Spotify asked me to. They're one of the sponsors, and so they asked me to do a live taping of No Filter at Spotify on Saturday. So I'll be there. I mean, and then I'm taping content with them on Friday. But like I'm going because I was invited to go, not because I've never. I don't think I've gone to any of those cons, like or not cons, but the conventions.
The big public overwhelms you in that
Yes,
capacity,
I
so I
don't like.
get
See,
why.
remember when you took me to DragCon and I was like, Andy,
I
there are too many.
forgot
There's
about
so many
that.
people here.
I forgot about that.
See, I
That
don't go
unlocked.
to cons unless somebody brings or asks me or invites me or brings me. Even when I first got the invite, like, because I was originally invited to DragCon and I just said, no, I don't want to go and interview people. I'm good. And then you're like, come with me. I'm down the street and we're at VidCon. And I was like, okay, well, at least if Andy's there, then I'm not going alone. And I'm like, I
Hmm.
can have
Yeah.
somewhat, especially because you're so social and I'm so not social.
But you have to know how to turn it on, turn it off. And I will say this candidly, you have to master the art of, I don't know who the fuck this person is, but I'm going to turn it on. And when they walk away, someone's like, oh my God, who was that? You go, don't know. Don't remember them. It just happens. And I have had many people I go to conventions with, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this with you because you're not that girl who can hold their own and I can leave on their own. Because at these type of public events, you get tapped so often of people running up to you, of people you haven't seen in like 6 years, the people you want to see and don't want to see. It's a whole kit and caboodle. Speaking of, did you know there's a cat con? There's a cat con.
I'm not surprised.
There's a con for everything.
We're getting ready for Anime Con
You know, too
right
much.
downtown.
I'm not a convention person as I've gotten older. I think that it is a lot to go to conventions. I think that what people see on the outside and attending versus behind the scenes are
Yeah.
very different.
It's
So
fun to attend cons if like you're buying tickets and going to these events, but like if you're working these conventions, like it's a lot.
it is a lot. I think also the name of the game of conventions have changed. People used to go to a convention, watch a panel, go home. Now people
Yeah.
know they can access things from their phones. And panels used to also have meet and greets sometimes. You know, this has just turned into a big meet and greet convention sometimes, depending on where you're at. And I'm like,
Yeah.
depending on the behind the scenes and how it's set up, maybe it's not the best for the talent. Maybe that's why they don't come to these as much anymore unless they're financially obligated to. In our case, different. We're going because we're working. And yeah, I will be going for a day because I have signed an apartment, but Papa went to Home Depot, had to get some paint, had to get some boxes, and has to pack his shit up. So life is life, and we cannot attend for the full time.
So you're just doing interviews, right?
Yeah, I have like one or two interviews I'm supposed to do, and when people ask what do we do and
Who
how
are
does it
you
happen,
interviewing? Gay people.
gay people. Yeah, I have a couple I can't like say specifically because I don't know if they're gonna like fully confirm until day of. That's the other thing. Live events, people's schedules move all the time. All the time. You're like, I have a 2 o'clock locked in. Kidding. Can we move it to 4? And you're like, no, we have something else to attend. I'll tell after the facts. I don't like saying what's going to happen. That kind of happened with Paris Hilton, where it's like, we're interviewing Paris Hilton. Kidding. That changed. But I will say this too. When you go attend a convention, people ask, what is that like for access? There's security everywhere. So you may have a community badge, an industry badge. We have a press badge, which gives, at least for me, all access for like the weekend. But like to go to certain parties, to go to certain activations, it's security out the wazoo, wristbands out the hee haw. And so I think my biggest gripe is how much level of access and how many favors you have to pull for people to do something fun at night.
Yeah. I'm excited. This will be my first year at VidCon. I guess I'm a speaker, a talent. I don't know. But like, I mean, it was just for me. It was an easy yes. I mean, I don't think I would have
Mm-hmm.
voluntarily gone to a con prior, but like to have Spotify come to me and be like, "We want you. We're sponsoring. We have the Spotify Theater at VidCon this year. We want you to do a live taping of No Filter, and
Hmm.
then we have all these other fun content things that we want to tape with you while you're there." I was like, "Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes," and like
Yeah.
and they got me a car to and from. Like I feel very VIP, so I'm
Oh,
excited to go to VidCon.
absolutely. That's like the way to do it is when you're a featured talent, a speaker, or you have someone who's sponsoring something. Candidly, on the press side, everyone's always like, come, come, come. We're not
So
going to
do
give
you
you
have
shit
a
though.
press room that you do these in?
Yeah, it's just a cubicle room. So
And
it
so
varies.
and they usually have, because I'm trying to think back to DragCon when we went to that. They have like the step and repeat, and so and it, but it's really it's crazy because I think when you see these interviews, you think that like the press room is like this big
Glorious.
fancy
Yeah.
something, and it's literally just like a room, and everybody's like on a laptop like typing their stories. Like you're in like a work hub, is what it's like a war zone where everybody's just there. You're sitting with like 8 other reporters that you don't even know or don't even like, or
Yep.
some you do, and everybody's just like working away.
And Zach was my professional plus one. So like that's what it's like for the press side is like we all make it look all glitz and glammy, but it's like we're sitting in a 20 by 20 room having free
Yeah, like when
croissants.
you see the videos on social media or on like a publication's website, you're like, oh wow, like you think there's like this big fancy red carpet, and you don't realize it's literally just like a, a conference room that everybody's all in together.
You bet your ass. No black car service for us either. But that being said, we have a lot of news to get into.
Yes.
And in this episode, we have to talk about Wendy because I don't think we've talked about Wendy in a minute. Have
No,
you been
she's
keeping up
been.
with Wendy Williams as much? I feel like you said no last time.
Well, I've kind of kept up with her. I know she was fighting to get out of her guardianship, and remember she was in and out of the hospital, and she was putting signs up in the window for the paparazzi. So
Hmm.
she's kind of had her ups and downs. And I know she last I had heard she had just hired a new attorney, and she was fighting her guardianship.
Yeah, so in March 2025, she passed I believe it's like a competency test of
Yes.
her being sound mind and state. Now, she's obviously made a lot of headlines for speaking out, having some small appearances, and her guardian in all of this is now up for a big discussion because surprisingly, Wendy's ex husband has filed a lawsuit on her behalf. It has named the judge, the guardian, and 48 other people, including Wells Fargo and more. And a big point of it is saying the guardian has overstepped their financial means of what they're allowed to do. In an example of this, I saw something, and you might have seen this. Wendy took to a lot of interviews saying, my cats are gone. Like, obviously, accounts have changed, but she's like, my cats are gone. I have no idea where they are. And that is it looks like a key catalyst for a lawsuit, which is really weird to say, but in this situation, Wendy has 2 cats and they have been boarded when she has been away. The
Mm.
guardian did not end up paying the boarding fees, and it looks like it's suspected that she sold the cats. And so, without consulting Wendy, I'm not
Or did
sure,
Wendy just forget?
you know, but the husband is filing this. It's $250 million for damages, and it's interesting because there's a lot of different articles on this. There's TMZ who's putting out an article that says this looks like a money grab, according to Wendy, because Wendy and her husband split back after 21 years of marriage,
Yeah.
and it was in the early 2020s. But it's something that it's banned as some people saying they're doing it together, others saying that Wendy doesn't, you know, not authorize this, but she doesn't fully support or is on board for it. So it's interesting when these type of stories break and you see all the different outlets covering their perspective.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've heard much from the ex-husband and from what I've seen. And so this came out of Kevin out of the blue, random.
Yeah, I just I'm concerned about Wendy because like I understand where people are like free Wendy, but I also feel like it's like everyone that was like free Britney, and not that I didn't think that Britney needed to be freed, but it's like like I don't think Britney's quality of life has really gotten any better. I just feel like I'm very concerned for her.
Yeah, and in this, it's also asking for her to be released from what's the word I'm looking for? From confinement. But she's looking for a new form of guardianship. And so that is where I think also like I agree with this. She still needs some support in some way, but like she is looking to be out of this confinement. She is looking for a new system of guardianship because this all happened without her being evaluated before. So
Yeah.
she's not, I think, like unaware of her condition that she's in. She's like, I'm getting older, but this is not the type of care I need and I do not want. But she knows she needs some sort of care. But being in confinement is that's a big move to put someone in confinement already at an older age. I think she should at least be out of confinement and
See, but you also have to think of like how many of us have like that grandma that like probably shouldn't be driving anymore, but in her head she's like, I can still drive, I can still do good. Like in her mind thinks that she's fine, but
mhm.
everybody else around her is like, no, you're not getting behind the wheel anymore. You're going to end up inside a 7-Eleven. Like that's not happening. Or, like there are certain stages of, the elderly progression, whether
Yeah.
it's early onset Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever it is, or just, old age and deterioration, there are times where maybe you need to be pulled back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if we can at least get Wendy in a confinement of her home, like if she has care from family, like her family's even said we can't even get her
Yeah.
to come down to Florida.
Yeah.
So
I
I
think
think
that's the
like
crazy part that if her family is willing to take care of her and they're
mhm,
not allowed to, that's crazy.
crazy. Yeah, even the niece is like, the fuck? Why aren't we allowed to see her? Why aren't we allowed to like have certain times she can come visit us? Let Wendy pick her choosing of where she wants to live at least and get the care she needs at that place and have someone be her driver, be her like little privilege of getting out in the public. But I think confinement's making her crazy.
Yeah.
Like I would think it would make anybody crazy. So the fact that they're trying to also pull whatever they can with her being in confinement, it's like, do you think that would be sane for any person, any age?
Yeah.
But
Oh, the family drama.
oh, the
Lots of family
fam
drama.
singing the tunes, singing the blues. Speaking of, we have some music news.
Yeah.
I want to tell you a funny story.
Tell me.
So, Kesha's new music video came out.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Kesha, no dollar sign.
Boy, crazy.
Now, Kesha, this video is directed by Brett Loudermilk, who did the Orville Peck paper magazine cover, a lot of really good photography and stills and more. This video, Kesha just pulls out all the NSFW stops. Now, I wrote about this story right when the video dropped. I was like, doing my little gay shit and be like, this is a very gay video. There's like men kissing, doing whatever. It's sponsored by Field, the app where you can also seek multiple partners for multiple activities, if you get what I'm pulling at. There is a shot of Kesha in this holding a man's buns with a jockstrap. And so I had that as our thumbnail for the article because, like, number one, Kesha looks good. This is also like art. Great. Put that on our social. I will say this much. Within the brief period of hours, we had to pull that back a little bit. We had to pull it back because everyone's like, yeah, Kesha, but we're also like, yeah, sponsors. And we got a little flag from some teams being like, can you change that photo? And I was like, it's on Instagram. We got to take it down at this point.
Because you had the whole butt.
The butt
You
and
didn't even
Kesha.
blur the butt. You didn't put anything over the hole. You just had it all on display.
Even that, though, when certain family-friendly companies are beckoning at your door, we were like, okay. And someone's like, is there another shot of her like with this? And I'm like, this is the only butt shot that is here. Otherwise, you put the Last Supper shot. But Kesha looks good in this music video. Dare I say it? I will say it. I stand on it. I think Kesha's having this really big resurgence moment. And I think it still beckoned from last year at We Hope Pride when she performed with the knife. So after that performance and after everything with her discography, I think we're seeing this Kesha upward rise, and she's really tapping into the Kesha we know because she's got the smoky eye. She's got like everything from the 2010s Kesha in a 2020s form. And Boy Crazy is such a fun song.
I'm obsessive. I'm boy crazy.
Keep singing. People love when you sing.
I don't know why, but they do.
People really do. People really, really do. But did you get a chance to watch the music video?
I'm watching it right now. I saw clips of it. I saw pieces of it online, and I'm watching it right now. There's so many men.
There are so many men. There are models, actors, OnlyFans stars. She pulled out everybody. She's also like on the piggyback ride of one of the men. I'm like, that looks fun. But she also puts her fingers in his mouth. I'm like, do you know how many times they probably shot that?
It just makes me think, like, when you're tasting Kesha's fingers or when, like, someone's butt's in her face, like, it just makes me think of, like, what do her fingers taste like? And, like, did he make sure he put, like, whole body deodorant over his butthole so that it doesn't smell when it's in Kesha's face? Like, I'm curious, like, did Kesha wash her hands before she stuck her fingers into someone? And did it taste like Dove soap or did it taste like lotion?
Or did it taste like lube?
That, too.
That's the thing we want to know. Speaking of a lot of commentary, we have some comments from Spotify from last week's episode.
Oh,
Nikki says, I look forward to you both every week. Thank you for your content. Much love with 2 exclamation points.
Yay.
Yeah. So I want to see if you all in the comments on Spotify love this music video and what your taste is for this artistic display of Kesha hands washed or not washed with the butt. So
It's a very nice butt.
right. It's like, okay, should I work out?
It's a very nice butt, and it's all lubed up and like a
Oiled.
turkey.
Yeah.
Oiled, well-oiled machine. Do we have any
Well
comments
oiled
on
and
YouTube?
ready for a vacation, which I think we need. Anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of vacations and other things, I've been seeing a lot of people in cons right now, and it seems like it's a big vacation because all the brands, all the activations. Have you been keeping up with like what cons is, or do you know what it is?
Say that again.
Cons France.
Cons?
Yeah.
Cons what?
Some people call it cans. Can
Oh,
Lions.
Canes.
Racing Canes.
Isn't it Canes? You called it cons?
I think it's cons the correct pronunciation if you're French, right? No, maybe not.
I think you got
You got the wrong girl.
can. It's cans.
Sure, maybe
Can.
I'm wrong.
I just Googled it. Can. The Can. It was the Cannes Film Festival.
And now we have cans, the
Because
advertising.
I was like, what the fuck is like Comic Con? We're going back to the cons. We just finished VidCon and Anime Con.
Can Lions is a
Can.
big advertising, let's call it like meeting grounds for people. And so it happens after the film festival. And I've been seeing so many videos of anybody and everybody trying to bring actors, talent, whoever, wherever, to this meeting ground because it is a big brand central hub. Now, I've seen people like the Las Culturistas boys, Bravo, Talent. We have like a lot of the Call Her Daddy groupies in there, but people are announcing what they're trying to do in marketing and hopefully have people also buy into whatever they're trying to work with. Now, that being said, Alex Cooper made an appearance here, and she has talked about what she is up to for everything Call Her Daddy. So she at Cannes Lions or Con Lions, I'm still not sure.
It's Can. There's no. It's not con at all. I don't know
I
where
don't know.
you
I
got
saw
con.
some girl who was like, it's cons. And I was like,
It's absolutely not cons. I've been Googling it this entire time that you were talking about Alex Cooper, and nobody says that it's con.
well, fuck my drag.
It's can. Can,
So-
like CAN. Can, but no, the S is silent.
No, you know? So Alex was there. As people know, she's got a 3-year deal with SiriusXM for $125 million. She is currently producing a reality dating show on a luxury yacht near Malta called Overboard for Love. She went on to say at this event, which I think this is the place where people want to announce and get people to buy into whatever they're doing for sponsorships and advertising. She has talked about how she's very excited for this show. And not that I'm not like a fan of this, but I don't love the phrasing of, you know, when people say they want to make a project and they bring in reality stars, they're like, you're going to be famous. You're going to be famous. I think it just turns me off. And that's kind of what she did in this here. She screamed, you know, quote, I'm obsessed with reality TV shows. So the fact of being able to produce my own dating show, I'm in heaven. She went on to say, quote, I'm watching all the dailies. And I'm like, you're going to be famous. You're going to be famous. This is amazing.
All the dailies.
Is that it?
Dailies. Yeah, dailies are like the shoots from like the dailies, like what's shot daily. Like Blake Lively, remember? And it ends with us. She wanted access to the dailies so that she can review the footage that was shot for the day.
I misread it. I thought dailies were like the lads. I was like, I don't know. It just turns me off a little bit. I know we're all here to like make money and make a success, but I don't like the old culture of I'm going to make you famous. I'm going to make you like rich in that phrasing.
Yeah.
But she also went on to say that she has a lot more she is up to, and she is pitching a lot for TV and film at the moment. So
okay.
I know there's been a lot of talk of like people saying, is she doing too much? Is it right? Is it not right? But I'm interested to see what these film potential projects are, because to podcast, to TV, to film, we haven't even gotten the TV side yet. Like we got the feature documentary, but
nobody really watched it.
Say it with your chest. Keep talking. Letting you have the room.
Right. But if you think about nobody, we heard about the teacher, and then the teacher was like a headline for 24 hours, and then the teacher spoke out. The teacher just issued a statement. Nancy Feldman.
Nancy Feldman.
Would you like to hear her?
I would.
Her statement.
Read it to the class.
What?
Read it to the class.
So she signed a letter, it says, BU's women's soccer alumni have signed a letter, numerous BU alumni signed a letter in support of former head coach Nancy Feldman, according to TMZ. The outlet reportedly obtained a letter which had 99 former athlete signatures from a representative at BU's women's soccer alumni speaking out in support of Feldman. While the letter stated that they do not look to diminish or discredit anyone's individual experience, they felt it was necessary to share their own perspectives as a united group, with the alumni saying they categorically never felt unsafe under Coach Nancy's leadership. They also said, we were never at risk or witnessed any inappropriate behavior or anything that could be characterized as harassment. As a leader, she approached every day with professionalism, making decisions in service of the success of the team. In conclusion, the letter, which reportedly featured alum from several decades, went on to say that Feldman's influence didn't stop after their college careers ended, noting that she has remained an important part of their lives, and we shall stand by her. How important of a part in your lives is she?
This is interesting. So a BU obviously came out and they were like, we take everything very seriously. And now there's this letter.
They have a zero tolerance policy for harassment. Mm-hmm. We have a robust system of resources, support, and staff dedicated to student well-being, and a thorough reporting process through our Equal Opportunity Office. We encourage members of our community to report any concerns, and we remain committed to fostering a safe and secure campus environment for all.
Now, your comment of no one watched it. Now, think of this. No. Whether that's true or not, we don't know the numbers. My prediction is this will continue to go onward, and people are going to watch because of all of these conversations, of the back and forth. Also interesting that you have people sign on a letter instead of, I don't want to say like giving any reasons of proof, but like it's just we stand in support. You know, that's what it gives to me on a first gut reaction.
What's wrong with the letter of support? Like, what would you have preferred them do?
It's just like, do we have any not proof, or like
Well, if the proof doesn't exist,
that's the thing we have to sit with is like what
you have to
investigation.
provide a burden of proof. Without proof, then you can't prove your case. Now, to be fair, Alex claims that her mom had a notebook
Right.
of
Of all the
alleged things that
times.
were said. Now, but this brings back my original point. Maybe I said this on No Filter because we had already covered it on the Pop Report. But it brings back my original point of, did the school dismiss her claims because they were trying to protect the teacher, or did the school dismiss her claims because they didn't feel like it was a legit case?
Mm-hmm.
That's the part where it's like a little, I'm a little torn because obviously, it seems like she felt very strongly that harassment occurred, and she felt like the coach kind of inserted herself very much into her personal life more than she should have. I mean, it's based off of Alex's description of the conversations that the coach had with her. They did feel a little inappropriate. Like the coach shouldn't be asking her about her dating life or her sex life. But
Mm-hmm.
where she's like, the coach insisted on driving me home. Then, like, to me, I'm like, well, if the coach insisted on driving you home late at night, like, that could also just be a coach that was not wanting a young teenage girl to be walking home alone at night. Like, if she didn't do anything and she didn't, like, try to come into your apartment or anything afterwards, then I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of dicey.
I mean, we have situations where like someone makes a claim and an investigation happens,
Yeah.
but we
I
also have
think
times where people
that's
make a claim and there's no investigation. So I'm also just like, how do we not how do we properly make an investigation, but like what are the grounds for like when universities want to conduct a thorough investigation to sweep any claims regardless?
I mean, I guess it comes down. I mean, they should always investigate claims, and they should always, if somebody feels uncomfortable or anything, like, they should always, I don't know, they should always do their due diligence. But also, like, if somebody comes to you and they're just like, I walked by and this boy whistled at me. I want an investigation for harassment. And the school's like, well, he whistled at you. Like, is it really worth getting into an entire investigation if it's something as benign as you walked by and this guy happened to whistle at you? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like, there are just nuances to it and layers to it that I feel like look at Blake Live, like this whole case with her, she really is claiming that she was harassed, but when you really go through the allegations and then you see the discrepancies in her story and the changes in her story and the malignment of certain instances that seem very benign, like a producer showing a birthing video for a birthing scene that she's about to perform, and then you see the video and you're like, wait, that's literally a wholesome video of a woman just holding her newborn baby after giving birth. That's not, pornographic. Yes, technically she's nude because she's holding her newborn baby and she just gave birth, but she's not like exposed. It's not explicit. So to categorize that as pornographic, a pornographic video of a producer's nude wife is just a gross mischaracterization of what actually happened. So there are certain instances where somebody can misframe something. We don't know that in Alex's case, and based off of Alex's descriptions, these do sound like, inappropriate things that the coach was doing. But I don't know, because then, I mean, there is a possibility that the school's just trying to cover their ass and issuing
Mm-hmm.
a statement saying that they take these things seriously, and having former players come out and speak highly of, this coach. Just because this coach was good to 10 people doesn't mean there wasn't one person that, the coach didn't have inappropriate relations with.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are just layers to it.
I, as my final resting thought, I think always have at least an investigation of some sort so it doesn't come and bite you in the
Yeah.
ass
Yeah.
later on. Like I've seen time and time again. I'm like, say you did it because you never know who's gonna blow up and be like, I made a Hulu documentary because you didn't take me seriously.
Yeah.
So that's where the money lands. Um, I think we have some other things to talk about as well in this episode. Now, I know you don't watch SNL. I know you don't. It's fine. Do you know who Fred Armisen is?
No.
Portlandia?
No.
No? Don't ring a bell? Okay. Well,
Oh,
in this
yes,
funny
I know
little...
who he is.
Okay.
I just Googled him. I know
You
his
just...
face.
The face, yes. And a funny little thing, SNL 50, years, they did what took 2 years to make this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame exhibit. And because Fred is such a big contributor of a lot of like music for SNL and so much more, Fred was brought for an appearance at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, it's in Ohio. I know you don't know where that is. Do you?
I don't think I've ever. I know where. I
Yeah.
mean, it's in the middle. I don't think I've ever been there though. No.
So I know you see some funny stories, but like this is just makes me laugh of like, why is this a story? Apparently, Fred Armisen was here at this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame green room where he was waiting to greet the public for this exhibit, which is the largest exhibit the museum has had in a while, or this year. The bodyguards who were outside the room weren't paying attention. He somehow left the green room, and they were all looking around and be like, where's this man? We lost him. How do we lose a man in a green room?
Yeah.
It's funny because this is a story, and it's on page 6, but he was just found outside greeting fans, and they're like, sir, we need to get you to go in. The show like is about to start. And I'm like, let a man greet, but also like, why is this on the front page of page 6 as a exclusive? And I don't know. It's just not a story. But I was like, in my stories that should not be a story, that is my little thing I put in for this week.
That's how you know it's a slow news week.
You say again?
I said that's how you know when it's a slow news week.
You know, sometimes we start these and I'm like, I'm pulling teeth trying to find something. But in our watch or skip, it's pretty stacked. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, what do we have in watch or skip? Anything good? Anything worth actually watching this time?
So I'm a little concerned. Blumhouse just bought the rights for Saw.
Okay.
I have feelings about this.
Okay.
I'm a very big Saw connoisseur. I love my horror. I have thoughts about Blumhouse. I think Blumhouse they don't finish well. I think they have good intentions, but I think they don't
They
land.
come too early.
I think that they miss the mark every time a little bit. They have a really good concept, and then they do a throwaway kill or like a throwaway plot at like the last like 3/4 or the ending, or they just feel like rushed. They have like really good IP, but it doesn't hit for me. Five Nights at Freddy's, so much more, but like Lionsgate is now selling out. They're owning 50% still in this for distribution and more, but they're like, it's time to hand over the baton for new ideas. And I'm like, why? Why Blumhouse? Like, why couldn't we have taken this to like A24?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's just interesting to me.
So
And
are they taking over like future Saw movies, or they're going to remake Saw, or what's the intention?
they bought the rights for it, so I don't know. It seems like we might get maybe like a TV show. We might get like
Oh God, we
maybe
don't
like
need a
another
TV
film.
show.
But like I when people say new fresh ideas, they love to do like a prerequisite before the actual series of like, here's the growing of the man who is Saw, like who is Jigsaw. I don't know. I have mixed feelings.
I was never into Saw.
That's fine.
I like Scream. I'm excited for I Didn't Know What You Did Last Summer. That's
Yeah.
coming back. What
Mhm.
else is Final Destination is my favorite.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had Final Destination come back this year. I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then Scream is coming back. I'm excited for the return of Scream.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
We have Dewey coming back. We have Nev Campbell coming back. Like Scream is not Scream without David Arquette, Courtney Cox, and Nev Campbell.
I love watching Scream in theaters and just everyone like saying, don't. I remember when I think it was Courtney Cox got like stabbed or shot in one of them, and I was like, we all just like screamed. We're like, don't you fucking die. But in other news of some upcoming titles, before we give our stamp of approval of will we watch or skip, Bruce Springsteen's biopic, Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere with the bear himself has dropped. And I'm really having a hard time. When I see people who get so much success from a series like Jeremy Allen White, all I can see him is as the bear. I can't see him as Bruce Springsteen in this.
He's lip.
I don't know. I also
Lip
not
from Shameless.
I,
You
yes,
never watched Shameless?
I didn't, but I know him as the bear because everyone's like, yes, chef, and that
I
just
know him
stuck so
as
much.
Lip. He's always
But
going to be Lip to me.
I I'm not a fan of biopics. I didn't watch the Timothy Chalamet one. I haven't obviously had too much interest in this, but it's supposed to detail some of the most painful moments from Bruce Springsteen's life. He did come on set a few times, and he was very cooperative. Um, and look, when these happen too, sometimes the artists are like, "Fuck that, don't want it." Like the Madonna one has been talked about for many times, but there's been some creative discourse on. I don't know how it's going to perform though, but I'll give my final stamp of approval if I'll watch in a little bit. Last but not least, we also have Jurassic World Rebirth. They just did the Germany run of the press tour, and the slutty little glasses from Jonathan Bailey are around, and he's talked about how he felt a lot of pressure to be a gay leading male for the first time in the Jurassic World series, which I get. He's like, it's a pride feeling, and it's also like a lot of pressure. Um, again, as somebody who doesn't see a lot of things, sometimes I
Yeah.
do, I've never been really hooked into Jurassic World. There's just too many, like Fast and Furious, too many.
Yeah, I've never. I mean, I have I seen a single Jurassic World? I don't remember. I remember watching Jurassic Park,
Hmm.
but that was a long time ago, and I don't think I've ever seen a Jurassic World, to be honest.
Yeah. So, would you watch a Saw TV show?
No, I don't even watch Saw movies.
Okay, that's a no for you. I'll still watch it because I'm a fan of Saw, but I hope they just don't fuck it up.
Well, I didn't watch the Scream TV show. They screwed that up. I'll watch the
Yeah.
movies, but I didn't watch the TV show because that was dumb.
What about Springsteen, Deliver Me from
Hard
Nowhere?
no. So fucking boring.
And Jurassic World Rebirth?
I would rather watch Jurassic World Rebirth than the other two.
Yeah, that'd be a little fun moment to go to the movie theater and, I don't know, have a little 4D experience, have a dino breathing on your neck.
Yeah.
Anything in your couple's corner or your legal update you want to get into this episode before we close out?
Two quick legal updates. One, I don't know, have you been following the Karen Reed trial?
She ain't guilty. Well, she has a OUI. Yeah.
Under
Yeah.
the influence.
I
Yeah,
have not been
operating a
keeping up, but I
vehicle
saw
under the.
so many people posting, like, I'm waiting for this verdict. I've been waiting for this verdict.
So this was her second trial. Her first one was a mistrial, and then the second trial, people were waiting to see because there was the theory that she didn't actually kill her boyfriend John O'Keefe with her car. So I guess they got into a fight and they were drunk. She allegedly hit him with her car and left him in the snow to die. That was kind of the story that they were going with. She was too drunk to remember what happened that night. She was in a full blackout. So there was the house of cops that they were, I guess, friendly with, or that the family they were friendly with her boyfriend because her boyfriend um, whatever. She came back to the house the next morning, found her boyfriend dead in the snow, freaked out, and then it seemed to be the internet theory was that the cops and all the friends, like they all kind of gathered together and they tried to frame Karen Reed, saying that she hit her boyfriend with her car and she's the one that killed him. But there was just a number of indiscrepancies. You know, there were things like I think one of them Googled like how long can a body stay in the snow before it dies, um, and they had like gotten rid of their phones, like they all had like destroyed and gotten rid of the physical phones, I guess, to like get rid of evidence, and they all happened to get new phones. There was a theory that maybe the dog had attacked John O'Keefe. Suddenly the dog disappeared, and everyone's like, what happened to the dog? Like if he has markings from a dog, then like how did the dog and the phones just disappear? Like it was all so strange, and they, you know, seem to have their story locked down tight, and obviously you have the police department on their side. And so it seemed to be a conspiracy to frame Karen Reed, but ultimately by the end of this trial, the jury determined that she was not guilty and she did not kill John O'Keefe, but somebody did. We don't know who, but something happened to him, but they did not find fault with Karen Reed.
People were so happy with this verdict, you know?
Well,
And
because
how
they
dare a
believed that
leaf
there was
blower
this
be outside my
conspiracy.
window when we're having a very serious conversation?
Yeah, because people believed that this was like a full-on conspiracy, like a frame job.
Yeah, I mean, the verdict took what, 24 hours?
I think longer.
A little bit. People were on their feet. They're like, we have a verdict. We have a near verdict. Everyone's like, do we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see what's going to come out after this verdict now in the headlines, but what is your other legal update?
Oh, Blake Lively, we have an update with Taylor Swift's text messages. So Blake Lively was fighting to protect the text messages. She was asking the judge to grant her a protective order. The judge said, nope, I'm not granting you a protective order. Now, alternative, so that brings the text messages up for grabs and they can be pulled into discovery. Now, alternatively, Baldoni's team, they were fighting to compel Blake to turn over the text messages, but the judge also denied their motion to compel. So they were trying to force her hand to give up the text messages, and the judge said, I'm not going to force her hand to give up the text messages. You guys basically have to figure this out together. He's like, there's no reason to compel her to give the text messages because you guys already dismissed your subpoena of Taylor Swift, so you kind of have already made the argument that Taylor Swift isn't a priority in this case. However, they also released their first potential witness list, and Taylor Swift is on the list. Harvey Levin is on the list. There are a number of different reporters from Daily Mail, TMZ, everybody at Sony, everybody at Wayfair, everybody at Ryan Reynolds Marketing Company, like all the players that were potentially around or witness or whatever, they're all being called into this. It's crazy. But it looks like Taylor Swift's text messages, they're kind of in limbo right now because Blake Lively hasn't turned them over. And Baldoni's team is claiming that Blake Lively hasn't turned over a single piece of evidence in discovery, which is also just highly suspect. She's set to be deposed on Monday, and I think that her team is intentionally not handing over any evidence so that Baldoni's team goes into the deposition blind and not knowing like where, you know, her potential pitfalls may be.
I'm like, can they do that though? I'm also like, how many printouts of texts are there?
Well, I mean, we don't know. It's crazy to think that like she launched this whole legal saga back in December. We're now in June, headed into July, and she still hasn't produced a single piece of evidence. And that's what this discovery process is for, so that both parties can put all the evidence on the table. People can sift through it, find out what's relevant, what's not relevant, and then move from there. But we'll see.
Well, I know you're going to put out some sort of update when that does happen, and we'll know first from you.
Yeah.
You heard it first. Well, obviously, if you love the Pop Report, hit the damn button, hit the thing. I'll try not to swear as much. I saw those comments, but sometimes it just happens when I go a little unscripted. But we'll see you all very soon. Anything you want to leave them with, Zach?
Subscribe, like, do all the things, and stay tuned and follow us at VidCon this weekend.
Bye, y'all.
You have to take content and do behind-the-scenes stuff. You never do that. You have to take content.
It's like
and
a
post
relationship.
and be like,
honey, we don't have sex. Doesn't make you want to have sex.
You have to be like, come with me, guys, to VidCon. Day one. And you have to do like those cute outfit changes, you know, where the guy, he jumps and then it's like, oh, my clothes are on, you know?
Oh, shit. I have clothes now in public. Well, maybe you'll see that video.
Yeah, I think you should. All right.
Bye everybody.